So this is the first social influence screencast, and today we're going to look at types of conformity. So first of all, what is conformity? You can see I've chosen three pictures on the left, the middle and the right, all of which kind of depict what conformity is. Definition is yielding to real or imagined group pressure. So in all of the pictures you can see that they're all in groups, and the other definition, which is equally as good, showing the same behaviours or attitudes as others in a group. So the key thing is there you've got a group situation. It's also known as majority influence, and the person is changing their behaviour to meet that group behaviour. This is also known as majority influence, as I said. So we're going to have a look at some examples of conformity. So first of all, the negative effects of conformity. You can see in the picture, which has got the stick figures and the kind of background. Sometimes it's seen as quite undesirable to fit in. Sometimes it's seen as quite undesirable to conform, especially with kind of younger people in society. They don't want to be the same as everyone else. They don't want to follow the rules and do what other people are doing. Another negative effect of conformity might be in a jury situation. So in the picture on the kind of top right, if there was a situation where the majority were going for one verdict and the minority were going for another, it's very easy to sway the minority through that majority influence, and they might come to a verdict which might not necessarily be correct, but it's just through that real or imagined group pressure. However, it's really, really important to remember that humans are social animals. A lot of human activity is group-based or socially based. So you can see the picture right at the bottom of the screen. People very often conform on the tube. They have to stand on the right. It's not a law. They're not going to get in trouble if they don't conform to that behaviour, but they'll probably get some funny looks, and they'll probably get a few people muttering under their breath. So they conform to that behaviour, and that avoids social chaos. Another example is in an exam hall. Obviously, it's important to be quiet, not interrupt people around you. So again, it's really important to conform to that social rule there. So there are positives and negatives of conformist behaviour. So types of conformity, three that we'll look at today. First one is compliance, second one is identification, and third one is internalisation. So compliance involves going along with other people's views or attitudes or behaviours. Their public view changes, but their private view stays exactly the same. Internalisation is the deepest level of conformity, and this involves a longer term change, so a more permanent change of behaviour and attitude. So the views are now internalised, so they're now integral, it's part of them. So the public view has changed, their private view has also changed, and as I said, that's a more permanent change. And in the middle you've got identification, so compliance being the most shallow level of conformity, internalisation being the most deep level of conformity, identification somewhere in the middle. So it involves changing an attitude or behaviour to match the group, but only on a temporary basis. So the public view and the private view, again, both change, similar to internalisation, but it's only temporary. Once they leave that group, their behaviour will change back to their original behaviour. So compliance, remember this involves going along with others in terms of behaviour or in terms of attitudes. Their public view changes, but their private view stays the same. So their behaviour changes to meet the group's behaviour, but their private own view stays the same. For example, Ben goes on holiday to China. He starts to eat all of his meals with chopsticks. However, he comes home back to the UK, continues to eat with a knife and fork. So he's not changed his views on knife and fork being the best and easiest way of eating. He's just gone along with the group. So identification. Remember, this involves changing attitude and behaviour to match the group, but only on a temporary basis. So their public view, i.e. their behaviour, does change. Their private view also changes, but it's temporary. So when the person leaves the group, these new views and attitudes, they might not be maintained. For example, if you've got Anna who's a vegetarian at home with her parents, she believes that being a vegetarian is the right thing to do. However, she goes off to university, she starts to eat meat in the absence of her parents. So she's conformed to her parents' views, she's conformed to her parents' behaviours, but it was only temporary. She did that to fit in with the group and to meet the expectations of the group. However, she did feel it was the right thing to do at the time. Finally, internalisation, as I said before, this is the deepest level of conformity, involves a longer term change of behaviour and attitude, and the views are now internalised. So the public and private view both change, and this is permanent. Even when the person leaves the group, these views and attitudes are maintained. So, for example, Anna's friend Sarah grew up as a vegetarian. Her parents did not eat meat. When Sarah goes to university, she continues to eat vegetarian food, even in the absence of her parents. So the views of her parents have been internalised. She doesn't change her behaviour, despite the fact that she's no longer in that group. So to test yourself, without looking at your notes or the PowerPoint, please make sure that you can write a definition of conformity, define what's meant by compliance, identification and internalisation for 2 marks each, be able to explain the difference between the 3 types of conformity, and give a clear example of each type of conformity.